guys, I'm Jay from Jay and Babes, and today I'm going to talk about my experience at the 2016 Rose Doll Show, as we are a week out from the 2017 Rose Doll Show. I have my mom here with me who's going to help with my video.
Hi viewers!
To keep me on track, because I tend to ramble. So, go ahead.
Okay, Jay, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about getting there as far as our airport experience at BWI versus coming home and our airport experience at Utah.
Okay, so we live about 30 minutes away from DC. That's important to know because we thought we would be in trouble going with Henna, because that's who we brought with us. We brought Miss Hens. We thought we'd be in trouble because we thought here people would have extra security. They might take her apart. We were thinking the worst, the absolute worst. And when we went, nothing happened. They swabbed her. They were like, okay, go. And we both kind of looked at each other like, really? That's it? Because we'd been dreading it. My mom had even taken Henna with her to work, where she has a metal detector. Before she goes into work, she has to go through a metal detector.
And an x-ray machine.
Yeah, and an x-ray machine. And they ran Henna through the x-ray machine, and they said, oh no, she looks like she's all fine. But we were still so nervous, because we were like, oh, what if? We were fine. However, when we were coming back from the doll show, we had Jimmy Boy and Fagin, as well as Henna, and they all flagged coming back from Utah. Every single one of them came up as a red flag. I know Henna's blanket came up as having explosive residue on it. I know because I saw them swipe it, and then it came up. And then both Jimmy Boy and Fagin had their paint, their vinyl swabbed, and they both came up with explosive residue. Henna's body came up, but her limbs did not. So they said, oh, she's all right. Which I don't know, but they said she's okay. So we put her away, but Jimmy Boy and Fagin had to be swabbed, I think, 4 times before they came up clear.
And they patted me down.
They patted my mom down as well. They used the back of their hands. The female TSA lady, she patted her down. She took her to the side and patted her down. And we were allowed to leave after that and go to our gate. But we had to get there early because it probably took about 30 minutes before they let us through.
Yeah.
And
it would have taken longer if I had been willing to go to a private room.
Right.
But I said, let's just get this over. Let's do it right here.
Right.
And we did.
But also I should tell you that my mom was pre-screened already. So when we first went through security at BWI, we got through like that because she has a pre-approval from the TSA because of the job that she does. So she went from having the pre-approval to being the criminal.
Being patted down in the...
Yes. And so that was quite the interesting time.
Why don't you talk about how having Henna with you enhanced your experience?
Okay, so...
Made you have a better experience.
I don't take my dolls out. I think if you watch my channel, you notice that. I would love to, but where I live, I'm surrounded by people that I'm related to. And a lot of them don't know that I have dolls. I mean, if they watch this video, they know. And
hi, everybody.
Hi. They kind of know, but they don't really know to the extent. And so me taking Henna out here is uncomfortable for me because I just don't want to start anything. However, when I went to Utah, I loved it. I loved it so much. It even made me brave enough that when we came back, I took Henna into a store. Granted, she was all covered up in the car seat and everything, but I took her in, and it was all of 5 minutes, and I felt so proud of myself. But I loved being able to take her places, take her around the doll show, take her around the hotel. I was wearing her most of the time, so, you know, I still had the safety of not many people could see her, so they couldn't tell she was a doll or not.
But you also didn't get any stares,
right?
Or
Nobody
rude comments.
stared or rude comments. We went to Target with Henna. I wore her around Target multiple times.
Yeah, Toys R Us.
We went to Toys R Us with Henna, the bookstore with Henna, and those are all right behind the Davis Convention Center, which is where the doll show takes place.
Why don't you talk a
And
little
there
bit
was
about...
such a camaraderie with having my doll and people seeing it, and they came up to me if they were doll collectors, and they asked about her and they wanted to see her, and so I got to meet people because I had Henna, and it was an opening because people wanted to know what her sculpt was. Oh, we don't see many of those, and oh, who's her artist, and this and that, and I made acquaintances and friends at the doll show that I probably wouldn't have made if I hadn't have taken Henna, and I was so nervous taking her. But it was so worth it in the end. And I would definitely recommend that people take their dolls, especially if they're going by themselves and they don't have anybody that will go with them. Well, you'll make friends because people want to know about your dolls because, well, people are nosy like that.
We know that you took Henna, but you also have Hensleigh and Finn. Why didn't you take one of them?
Okay, now you know I love me some Finny and some Hensleigh girl, but those two, they're quite heavy. They're very heavy. Finn is like 15 pounds, Hensleigh is like 10, and carrying them through an airport is not an ideal situation in any shape or form. I would love to have taken them if we had been able to drive, sure. But Utah is 31 hours from us, so that's not realistic. I'm sorry, but it's not. At least not for us.
Yeah. And
so taking Hensleigh and Finn is not possible to this doll show. Maybe to another doll show. I know IDTS is around here, but Hensleigh and Finn are way too heavy to take them through an airport and have to carry them and then carry them around the doll show because I was even getting tired carrying Henna. My back started hurting because, I mean, the dolls are dead weight. They're dead weight. They're not holding up anything, and you're wearing them on the front of your body, and you're not used to, if you're me, you're not used to carrying that.
Okay. Why don't you talk a little bit about getting there early?
Okay.
And how you felt about that.
So we flew in on the Thursday and the show was set to start on the Friday. And we got in at about 12. We stopped to eat at an IHOP that's like 30 minutes away. And then we got to the hotel at about 2. And we thought, okay, well, check-in's at 3. But normal people let you check in when you get there. The guy behind the counter would not let us check in until 3 o'clock. So we sat there for an hour.
But it also gave us time to go around to the convention area.
We went around to the convention area, and we were, well, not we. I was nervous. I'm a very nervous person. When I do things for the first time, I get very nervous. So I was nervous. I was like, Mom, we shouldn't go around there. Not yet. Tomorrow's the show. We'll get it tomorrow. I'm so glad I went before then because we were able to get our goodie bags, and I know they ran out of goodie bags before everybody got their name tags and stuff. Everybody got their name tags, but not everybody got a goodie bag. And because of the time that we came, we got a goodie bag. And I'll link that video below, and you'll be able to see, because I believe their goodie bags are the same or very similar to the previous year, so I'm assuming they'll probably be the same this year if they do them. And we got a goodie bag, and we checked in, and we sat there for a while because they have a little seating area right outside of where the doll show takes place. And we talked with a lady who was there with her silicone, and we talked about her travel experience, and she also flew in, so we kind of shared battle stories about that. And that was our first taste of how the doll show was going to be. And so if you're thinking about flying in early, or for next year, of course, because I'm sure all of you have made your plans if you're going, and if not, you're just like me, because I haven't decided if we're going or not. We're not really sure at this point, if you're wondering. But flying in early definitely helped, because it also allowed us to get acclimated to the time zone and get a good night's sleep before the excitement began.
And then the next morning, when it was go time, what did we do?
We got up early, and we went down and we ate at the little cafe type thing that they have there. And then at about 15 minutes till we were done, and we were like, well, what do we do? So we said, well, let's not go. We'd already brought henna down because we thought we would be cutting it close. So we didn't have to go back up. And so we went around there, and there was a line forming. And we were like, what? What is this line for? And they said, oh, we're lining up for the doll show. I was like, oh, I guess we're lining up for the doll show. And so we were about the third or fourth group in the line.
The leg thing.
Oh, and on Mr. Fagan here, they come about 5 minutes till they came down the line. Sorry, Fagan. Oh, hey. And they gave us one of these for henna. Fagan got one of these after we purchased him. Jimmy Boy never got one because we got him at the end of the doll show. Yeah. So there was not a point in him getting one. Sorry, Fagan. But Fagan got one when we bought him, but Henna got one when we got in line. And that's to tell that you're bringing the doll in. It is not a doll that you've picked up and decided you want and you're just going to walk around the doll show with. So that's to
it's like a security tag.
Right. It's to tell them that this doll is yours. And, well, this doll has already come in, so it wasn't purchased here or taken from a table in here.
Yeah. The other thing that I would say about getting online and getting there early is you do want to go in as soon as those doors open, because things get purchased so quickly.
So fast. Albie sold out in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes. And yeah, she had her babies on her table, but that was just holding them for the people.
For the buyers.
So that they didn't have to walk around the whole doll show with them all day. So if you really want to see everything, you need to be there on that Friday. And also, I'll give you a little preview. I think this might be a little too early, but in the scheme of how we're going with the video, but I'm going to say it. Don't wait for a sale to come on, because on Saturday, they don't really go on sale. At most, you'll get maybe $10 off, $15, $20, but it's not worth it if you really, really love the baby. I'd just go ahead and take it.
I would agree. If you wait for the doll to go down in price, you'll come back and find it gone.
Right. Because it's not like eBay. It's not like eBay where people might change their minds. There's a lot of people who are just going to be like, okay, yes, I want it. Because they assume everybody else around them might want it too, and they don't want to lose out. Yeah. So in that case, I wouldn't say make a split-second decision.
No, walk around and see what you like.
Right.
But then once you've made your decision, go back to the table and get it.
But also, I truly believe in if it's meant to be yours, it'll be yours. Because Mr. Fagan here, I don't know if you can see him, but Mr. Fagan, you see the cuteness, do you not? He's my only sleeping baby. And I'm not going to say he's always going to be my only sleeping baby, because I just can't say that anymore, because I said I'd never get a sleeping baby. But here's Fagan. So, Fagan was a hit after I purchased him. Nobody saw him before then. And we saw him, and I held him, and I said, oh, I love him. I love him. My mom kind of looked at me like, but you said you weren't going to get a sleeping doll. But Tangi does something to her babies where she weights them so well and she paints them so well that I don't mind that he's sleeping. It's okay with me. I've owned one other sleeping doll in all of my life, and I don't think I liked her very much. But shh, don't tell my dad.
And then Jimmy Boy has painted hair.
Yes. And we said we'd never do that either. So the doll show is all about trying new things.
I think there's also a difference when you can actually see the babies firsthand and see the artistry.
Yeah.
And just how lifelike they look.
Mm-hmm. Even with the painted hair and the closed eyes. I would never buy a closed-eyed baby online because I'd be afraid that it would come home and it would look like a dead baby. And I don't want that.
Not to rush you along, but you want to talk a little bit about being careful about how much you buy.
Oh, yeah. Whew. You need to be so mindful of when you're packing to go to the show. Oh, okay. You need to be so mindful of when you're packing to go to the show because you need to know you're going to have room if you buy something. Don't go to the show and say you're not going to buy anything. You're just going to look. I said I was going to look. I wasn't going to buy any dolls. I bought 2. So be on the safe side. We had nowhere to put Jimmy Boy, so we kind of tucked him under our arms and walked like that with him with a blanket over his head.
Yeah.
It sounds horrible, but that's kind of how it worked. And so you really, really, really need to be mindful of when you're purchasing things. Do you have somewhere in your suitcase to buy it? You might want to buy it, and you might think it's the best thing ever. But if you don't have anywhere to put it, it's not going to be the best thing ever for very long. And
you also don't want to check your babies.
Right, because
given
they're
how much
so
they
expensive.
cost.
And you never know what they're going to do if they decide, oh, we need to cut this doll open. You don't want that. So you need to have the baby as a part of your carry-on. Okay.
And why don't you talk about being able to go to other events and talk to artists and collectors, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, so we went to the banquet, and the banquet allowed us to meet with other doll artists and collectors, and really experience being in the community. It gave us a sense of community. It gave us a sense of being able to share in this hobby. It also allowed us to have some relaxed fun as we were there, instead of it all being about buy, I need to get this, I need to get that. It allowed us to sit down and talk with people and really get to know people. And our table at the banquet was a hoot. It was so much fun.
Yeah, we had good folks sitting with us. People that we'd never met before, but still very, very friendly, very, very good people.
And really, I don't know that we looked any different than some of the people who had talked to each other online for years. And that's really the big thing about the doll show, is if you plan on going or if you're going to go, you need to have your own experience. Don't have an experience that you think others would want you to have, or have an experience because you think that's how you should act because you're at the doll show.
Yeah.
You have to have the experience for you. And you need to be happy when you come away with it. And I think my mom and I were both really, really happy and pleased with how it went. And so thankful that my dad was able to do that for us, because it was a birthday present for me from him last year. And so that's just what I would say to you guys. If I have any sage advice as somebody who's been to the Rose Doll Show, have fun, have your own experience, and be mindful of what you pack, because at the end of it all, you want to be able to bring your experience home with you. You don't want to have the stress of, what do I leave behind? So be mindful and have fun and enjoy the 2017 Rose Doll Show. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.